Okay, welcome everyone. This is Scott here again with a very different kind of video to help you learn how to trade, invest, and master your finances so you can apply that knowledge in the real world and multiply your money. And so as I just said, and I'm sure you can tell by the name of this video, this is going to be a very different kind of video topic than what I normally do, right? This channel is mostly about options trading and investing, but as per my introduction, I do want to also help you guys master your finances. So with that in mind, going forward, I do want to start making more videos on financial literacy, financial health, wealth creation, that kind of stuff too, because all of this goes hand in hand. You can't be a successful trader or a successful investor if your finances are in chaos or if your mentality is in chaos. It all goes together in one big package. And so in this video, I wanted to share my story as to how I was able to build a six-figure net worth in about a year and a half by the age of 24. And by no means am I making this video to brag or to boast about anything. I simply want to share my story and offer some advice and some of the tips and tricks that I learned along the way. Because ultimately, like I said, I want this channel to be mostly about options trading and investing, but also I want to produce content about financial literacy, financial health, and wealth creation at the same time. And briefly, because I'm sure y'all are curious, with a whole new background and the microphone and everything, I have traveled back home just to hang out for a bit with some family and some friends, so that explains the new background. And then this microphone I've actually had for a little while. I've been using it for the past few weeks in my screen recordings of showing option trading concepts and whatnot, but I am trying to incorporate a lot more into my actual face-to-face videos. So anyways, let's finally get down into it. And my story begins after I graduated college from UC Berkeley a few years back. So I've mentioned that in a few videos of mine. I studied both computer science and economics at UC Berkeley. And once I graduated, I started my first full-time job as a software engineer in the financial services industry. And at the time when I did graduate, I had a net worth of about $10,000 or so. I don't recall the exact figure, but it was just a few $1,000s at the time, which I'll admit is definitely a advantageous position to be in when you are just coming out of college, right? I recognize that most college kids coming out of school are in debt actually from all their student loans. So I am very grateful that I had a little bit of a head start. I had a few $1,000s of positive net worth to my name once I graduated, but still $10,000 does not go a long way. And even still with that few $1,000s, I had to figure out a way to grow that into six figures and do so in a pretty short period of time. So the key to my success in this regard was basically every single day, I would just comb through Wall Street bets on Reddit and I would find the hottest, memeiest stocks possible and I would just YOLO my cash on deep out of the money call options. And most of the time I would lose all my money, but eventually I hit it big on GameStop and the rest. Totally kidding there, just wanted to throw in a little bit of humor in this video, but in reality, the true key to my success was frugality. Simple as that. And specifically what I mean by that is the money I was making with my day job as a software engineer, I was only spending the money I needed to pay my bills. So rent, food, car insurance, gas for my car, power, electricity, etc., and that's pretty much it. Now, this was not the only key to my success of building a six-figure net worth in a pretty short period of time, but it definitely got me started. And so every month I made a spreadsheet where I tracked every single expense that I made during that month, and I made damn sure that those expenses were as necessary and as minimal as possible. And so of course when you do this, you are maximizing the surplus income that you have, the money left over after paying your bills and your necessities, right? And so that money, at least for the time being when I was just getting started, I just put that into a savings account. That's it. And so while I was doing this, outside of my day job, I was learning a lot about trading and investing. I already learned a lot about this stuff in college, but I wanted to continue to further my knowledge and investigate this stuff further in my own time. And I started just kind of experimenting with trading, with buying shares of ETFs, buying options, selling options, just kind of doing that beginning experimentation. And over time, as I got more confident with what I was doing, I put more and more money into the market, into my trading account, and I started to grow that small pot of money. And I want to emphasize I was not trading and investing with all of my money. In fact, most of my cash was just in a savings account. I'm a very conservative trader and investor, so a lot of my capital is still sitting in cash, and I'm currently trading with a smaller amount of capital as I continue to grow my confidence and my skill set. So at this point, I was making money from my day job, of course, and I was putting a lot of that surplus income into a savings account, and that was increasing my net worth over time. And then also on the side, I had an investing and trading account that was slowly growing in size as well. And as I started to have success with my trading and investing, I obviously had acquired a lot of knowledge up to that point, and I wanted to begin sharing that knowledge. And that's what brought me to SKILLSHARE. And so as you've seen in all my videos up to this point, I basically spend 10 seconds or so at the beginning of each video just doing a quick advertisement for my SKILLSHARE courses. And that has become another pretty significant source of income for me. So now at this point, I've got income still from my day job, which I'm putting away. I've got income from SKILLSHARE, and I'm putting that away. And I'm still on the side growing my trading and investing account. So that's 3 different sources of wealth creation. And so going forward, as time rolled by, I would put a little bit more money into my trading and investing accounts. And when you have more capital to invest with, your returns are going to be larger. So that account started to grow a bit faster and faster. And also my SKILLSHARE revenue, as I produced more and more courses, that revenue started to grow more and more as well. And finally, on top of that, I worked really hard at my day job, and I was promoted after about a year. And that was, another increase in income and hence more money to put away. Now the key with all this, as my income was increasing, was to not increase my expenses, right? Because most people, when their income goes up, they increase their expenses. And so the money they're able to put away or invest never changes. But for me, and what I did, and this is going back to my earlier point where frugality was really the key to my success, is I kept my expenses exactly the same, and I'll continue to do that for probably a very long time. And so this had the result of magnifying the total amount of surplus income I had. And to this day, I'm still putting most of that money into a savings account. And I'll talk about why in a second here. But every now and then, I'll put some of that money into my trading and investing account because I'm still learning, still getting more confidence with that. And as I continue to make progress in my trading and investing, I want to trade and invest with more and more capital. So really, in summary here, if you want to increase your net worth as fast as possible, it's really all about increasing your income and keeping your expenses as low as possible, and ideally as stagnant as possible, right? Do not increase your expenses when your income goes up, at least not for quite some time. And in terms of finding a way to increase your income, there are an infinite number of ways to do that. You can work really hard at your day job and get promoted multiple times. You can invest in dividend stocks, and now you've got dividend income. You can buy a rental property. You can start a business on SKILLSHARE or YouTube. There are so many different ways to create income for yourself. Basically, if you can identify a skill set that you have, knowledge that you have, an idea, something, and monetize it, that's going to be the best way for you to increase your income. Just keep in mind that this does require a lot of persistence and time. You're not going to have some great idea and become a millionaire overnight, right? My first paycheck on SKILLSHARE, for example, was $8. I made $8 in 1 whole month. That was it. But because I continued to make courses and just pump out content, my last paycheck on SKILLSHARE was well over $1,000. So just proving my point that if you have that idea, that skill set, that knowledge, that whatever, and you keep pursuing that, trying to monetize it, eventually you will be successful and your income will follow in suit. And then of course, as I've been saying, use that income as a tool. Use that money as a tool to create more money or more wealth. That's how, in the simplest form, wealth creation works. You use money as a tool to create more money. And so now this ties into my final point that I want to make. And as I mentioned earlier, still, I'm currently just putting a lot of my money into a savings account. Why am I doing this? And in part, it's because I do want some savings, of course, in the case of emergencies or some kind of situation, but also I want to have cash just sitting idle for whenever a future opportunity comes my way, a great investment opportunity. I've got the cash for it. I've got the capital for it. And a great example of this was back in January of this year. I had an opportunity come my way for a pretty short period of time where I could invest into a fintech startup company. And I literally just had a 1 week window of opportunity to make that investment. So had I not had that capital just sitting there ready to go, it never would have been possible. So that's why you should always have some reserve capital just sitting there and waiting for a great opportunity to come your way. Now, I'm not going to yet talk about all the details of this investment I made. I'll just say that basically I put in $12,500 into this company, and I'll probably make a whole separate video once I know the outcome of this investment. But of course, it is an investment. There's always risk there, so I am prepared to potentially lose all that money, which is, of course, why I did not invest all my money into this opportunity. But if it does pay out the way I expect, it has the potential to more than double my entire net worth just in this one single opportunity. And that is the power of using your money as a tool for wealth creation. Even just a single opportunity can propel you to a whole new level. Now, of course, we'll see what happens with this investment I made. It could turn to nothing. That's always a possibility, but I would not have made this investment if I did not see a pretty good chance of some great upside. So ultimately here, just kind of wrapping things up at this point, the first major step towards wealth creation is getting your expenses as small as possible. You don't have to go, super hardcore and never spend your money on anything pleasurable. I'm not saying to do that, but in truth, seriously, get your expenses as small as possible. And through that, you will be maximizing your surplus income. And that is your tool to start using to increase your wealth through investments, or perhaps putting it just on the sideline for the time being as you wait for opportunities to come your way. That's how you do it. And then in combination, increase your income and keep your expenses the same. It takes money to make money. And the more money you have to use as a tool, then the more money you will make. And if you don't know yet how to use your money as a tool, as a means towards wealth creation, then start learning about it. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to other YouTube channels that talk about investing and finance. Read some books. Take some courses on SKILLSHARE or on Udemy, right? There are so many different ways and sources that you can use, many of which that are free or very inexpensive, to self-teach and self-learn how to use your money as a wealth creation tool. It's a shame this stuff is not taught in school. It definitely should be, but at least at a minimum, like I said, there are so many sources you can use to self-teach and self-learn. And so with that being said, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. And I'm definitely curious to know what you guys thought about this new kind of video format or this new video topic. So let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you wanna take some classes on options trading or stock market investing, then check out my SKILLSHARE courses. Links in the description of this video. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I drop new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you don't want to miss out. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.